Hello, 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 and welcome back to my monthly UFO project series. I am Chelsea Souter, this is Lately Fashionable, and in this series I am attempting to finish one UFO per month from my 12 boxes of UFOs. Last month I was successful. I finished my UFO within the month. Very proud of myself. Let's see how I did this month. February's UFO was box number 12, and it has not been touched. Well, that's not entirely true. I did finish the wrap top, so that's something. Don't worry, I'm not going to do this to you every month. Partly because not all of these projects are garments, so I won't be able to wear each of them under my zip-up cardigan. Partly because I only have one zip-up cardigan, and I don't want all my thumbnails to look the same. Actually, eagle-eyed viewers will know that I put a spoiler right in the thumbnail because here's the thumbnail now. Good enough. I tell you what, February was a struggle for me in many ways, but specifically also with this project, which we will get into now. Okay, it is February 18th, which is not only my brother's birthday, but also well over halfway through February, and I have not yet touched my February UFO. So we should change that. I have not had much motivation to work on this one because it is a summer dress, and it has been very, very cold. But I should at least put the sleeves on the bodice that I made as a mock-up for the dress. And then I'll have a top that I can wear with at least elbow-length sleeves, which is the same sleeve length as the blouse I'm wearing today, so I have no excuse. This blouse is one that I had been working on since August, and I had set it aside. It should be the video that came out right before this one, if all goes according to plan. But I intentionally did not put this blouse in the UFO category because in my mind it was still a work in progress, even though I had not touched it, like I said, for 5.5 months. But it's finished now, so I can work on my actual UFOs. Let's do it. As a reminder, my UFO is the Mary Quant Georgie dress, which is a free pattern download from the VNA, and I had downloaded and printed off and taped it all together several years ago now, and I cut out and put together just the bodice, sans sleeves, and finished the waistband so it can be a standalone blouse because I only had enough of this fabric to make just the bodice. And I wanted to make sure it would fit before I cut out the real fabric I wanted to make it from, which is this striped linen, which began its life as a petticoat at Colonial Williamsburg, and I bought it at a costume sale, also a few years ago now. Okay, so I need to figure out what I'm doing with this, but literally first I need to put the sleeves on this bodice, so it can be done. And then I can check that off. Okay, it is now February 22nd, and I have attached the sleeves. They still need to be hemmed. And I think the fit is decent around the waist, but the neckline is much too loose. So I think what I'm going to do is remove the bias facing. It's not even a bias facing. I got that on the straight of grain. I'm going to remove the neckline facing and I think ease the bias neckline edges and sew it to a smaller strip of facing. I think that will make it more comfortable to wear. I should probably measure before I do that. Oh, I do not want to do that. Because look, I sewed this in, I mitered the corners, and I hand stitched it. It's all one long piece. Okay, I did use bias up the neck to go around. So I would need to unstitch from both sides all the way down and down the front. Also, while I was trying it on just now and trying to get it to fit, I think the darts are in roughly the right places. They're maybe a little too far in for me. I could go, you know, like an inch out to be perfectly aligned for me, but that's not the issue. The issue is it's too long in the waist, and I could solve that by either taking the waistband off and moving it up like 2 inches, or I could, again, take the waistband off and flare the darts out from the waist point, you know, so they'd taper like that. That would make it fit better. I would still need to do the neckline, but that would also mean removing the waistband, and I stitched all of that by hand as well on the inside, and that's why I stopped this part of the project. That's why I never put the sleeves on, because the bodice itself did not fit, and what would be the use of having the sleeves on an ill-fitting bodice that I'm not going to wear anyway. So fun just discovering as I go why I never finished things in the first place. Okay, I have pinned the sides of the wrap front to my bra so that I know where I want it to lay when it's all together. And then I have pinched in at the neckline how much I want to take in just by easing. And I think I can get away with it because it's a bias. It stretches in both directions, so I can probably ease it in to the facing and get it nicely fitted. And then I think I am going to let out the bottoms of the darts. Part of the reason I didn't want to do that is because then I will need to make a longer waistband than what I currently have, because it's going to make the waist longer. But I can probably supplement. I don't think I have any of this fabric. I can look if it's in my scraps, but I think I used like every single inch of it. But if I need to, I can take out what I don't use from the neck facing and patch it in to the already patched waistband, because I only had enough of the vertical striped piece to get around to here, and then because this is the part that's going to get covered up, I just patched it in. So I can do that again, it'll be fine. It's really annoying because I wanted this part to be quick and easy and done, and it's not going to be quick and easy. So, okay, more seam ripping, here we come. Okay, it's the next day. I did go ahead and do all that seam ripping while I was watching a movie with my kids. And now I have reattached one side of the neck binding, and I'm going to show you how I did that with the other side. So first I measured how far that little tuck that I pinned at the waist took it in at the neck, and then I moved this down, so it was here, and I moved it to where this pin is. So now I have all this extra slack in the bias neckline. So I just ran 2 rows of gathers, one outside and one inside the seam allowance, and all I have to do is pin that back and stitch in the original stitching line, and that will bring in the neckline and prevent it from gaping. that worked really well. Eased in very smoothly, so now I just need to turn that back in and hand stitch along here. And I am going to let out all of the darts below my waistline, so I think that's going to be about 2 inches up from the bottom. And I am also going to remove this tie, sew it on to the other side, and put an opening here on the other underarm seam so that I can wrap it around, put it through here, and have it meet and tie in the back. So it's going to be a true wrap bodice that ties. And I think that will help keep everything really secure without having to add extra snaps or skirt hooks or anything like that. I should point out that these ties are entirely my invention. They were not part of the original pattern instructions for the dress, but I added them so that I would have a way to close the bodice. And I think also just because I had extra long strips of the fabric when I was cutting it out, so I wanted to use them. Okay, this is fitting much better. I'm very happy with how the neckline came out. I can lean forward without fear. And I did let out the darts at the waist, and that is making everything much smoother. I can actually pull the neck as tight as I need to without worrying about the waist being too tight, so that's good. I think the only change I'm going to make is actually shortening the left wrap front, because I don't need it to come all the way over to the side seam. I can end it a few inches in because it's not going to show at all, and I don't have enough of the waistband material to go all the way around the lengthened waistband. Oh, this is just so much more comfortable. I'm really happy with how this is coming out. So yeah, I think I can go ahead and hem the sleeves, put the waistband back on, add the ties, and I think I did I already do? No, it'll be over here. Yes, I did. I did make the little opening for the tie to come out so that the two ties can meet in the back and tie. Okay, here we go. So I just need to reattach the waistband, extend this facing back down the front, and reattach the ties, which will then, on this side, go through the opening and tie in the back like so. Okay, after multiple false starts, I was able to get a suitable length of waistband. I did trim off the extra from both ends of the neck facing, and I pieced them on here. They're not as long, but that's okay because this much is going to get folded in, and then the grosgrain ribbon stitched on top once again. So that is going to work, and this is on the left wrap side that is going to be underneath, so the piecing is not going to show. And also I'm going to shorten the left wrap side a little more than an inch. So now it's time to sew all of this. Oh, I should also mention it is February 26th, and tomorrow is when I'm actually going to film this UFO project wrap-up and draw the number for March, because on Saturday, the 28th, we are having my son's birthday party, so I will not have a chance to film. So for me, February is actually 27 days long this year, but we're going to have one garment done. Not both, but something. Okay, I am annoyed. I was probably too tired to be working on this the last time I was working on this, and I made a mistake. Because for some reason, I operated as though this band would be turned to the inside, so then it didn't need to come all the way over here, because then this part, this is the neck facing, I'm holding it upside down, so that the neck facing would turn in and cover that raw edge. And I was operating under that assumption up until I got this to the ironing board and realized that no, that's not how I designed this. I designed this to be a waistband that would show on the outside and be covered on the inside by this grosgrain ribbon. But then, if I do that, when the neck facing turns in, it does that, and that's obviously not what we want. So, I have two options. I could hunt for any remaining scraps of this fabric that I might have somewhere in my sewing studio, take off the waistband, piece on an additional bit, sew it back on, and do it properly. Or I could just give up on the functional waistband and treat it as a hem facing. And I'm leaning towards that option because I am so tired of working on this and I want it to be done. Okay. But having said that out loud, I think I am going to at least search for more of this fabric and see if I have any. Because this little scrap that I cut off of the left side is definitely not big enough. If I can't find any, then we're going with option 2. If I do find some, we'll see how I'm feeling about it at that point. Okay, here we go. Well, good grief. I could have just used this scrap from the beginning and not had to piece in these weird little bits. So I am going to go ahead and do the annoying thing that I don't want to do, but I will like the results better. Right? Right. Except, of course, I do not actually have enough of the ribbon, even if I piece back this bit that I cut off when I made this initially, because that was the length I needed. This project is becoming so annoying, and on the one hand, I should just be focusing on finishing the dress that is the actual UFO and not worrying so much about the wearable mock-up, but I want this to be done. I thought it was going to be easy. I just wanted an easy win. You know what I do have though is twill tape, and lots of it, and it's white, so it's not going to be a color match, but who cares? It's on the inside. Let's do this! Okay, I did it. I did not record it. I also did not pin it when I attached the new waistband. But it went pretty fast, and it was fine. And then I added the twill tape on the inside, like I said I was going to. That worked out just fine. I pieced it in the center, because I had two pieces that were each half the length they needed to be. And now I just finished hand tacking the neck facing. Oh, I had to reattach those little pieces that I cut off from the bottom, because I had assumed that this was going to fold in, and now they weren't long enough. But I put the same pieces back on that I originally took off, because I replaced those with this strip to make the full length of the waistband that I needed. Anyway, it's done, and because it's a wrap top, it doesn't need a closure, so I can put it on now. And I am now going to put it on. It is the next day. It is the day I am filming this video, and I'm not showing you my face because I'm not dressed yet. I put a sweatshirt on over my pajamas to take my kids to school, and now I'm going to get dressed. So I'll see you in a bit. I might as well show it off now that it is finished and I can wear it. Here it is. I initially wore it over the skirt, but I didn't like how that looked for my Instagram outfit pictures, so I tucked it in, retook the photos, and was much happier. I do like the idea of this top with maybe a pair of high-waisted shorts for summer as like a cute little 40s playsuit. I've been wanting a playsuit for a while, so that is on my list for this summer. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get there. In the meantime, it's time to draw next month's number. Once again, I want to give thanks to Shelley Robson of the Quilted Forest for giving me this idea in the first place. Actually, she gave the idea to my mom, who then gave it to me, but regardless, she did it first. Okay, box number 2 is March's UFO project. Let's see what it is, because I really don't remember. Oh no! Oh no! It's the laundry bags, which I do not want to do. But on the other hand, it is getting a little bit urgent. They are deteriorating rapidly. Okay, that's gonna be fun. So yeah, like I said, I'm not always going to be wearing the UFO because this is not a garment. It's rebuilding, essentially, my mesh laundry bags, which are all falling apart and were not really made to last, but I do want them to last. And they have metal frames, so I don't want that metal to go to waste. I'm just going to recover them, essentially make them again from scratch, and have much sturdier, longer lasting laundry bags that I can use for years to come. Ugh. I know I am not going to enjoy working on these, so I might, just to break it up, work on February's UFO in between. Also, I had wanted to wear the pleated skirt that goes with January's UFO in today's video. I think it would be cute with this top, but I got it 80% done. I actually got it 90% done, tried it on, and it was too big, so I had to take the waistbands off, take in every single pleat, and I haven't put the waistbands back on yet, and I still need to hem it and add fastenings. So now it's down to 80% done. It was 90, down to 80. Well, down to like 60, back up to 80. Anyway, I barely got this top done, as you saw, so there was no extra time to work on this. Would have been cute. Alas. So maybe I'll finish that for next month too. I'm doing great, in case you were wondering. Having a great time. So, that's all I have for this month. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! And welcome back to my UFO finish. Nope, I need the mic. Actually, eagle-eyed viewers will know that. So, for me, February is actually 27 days long this week.